Could you send that to Marcelo? Marcelo?
Unchi?
Yes.
Big Unchi.
But it's like
Sent. Thank you. I didn't see, did you make that?
I was looking.
He says thanks, you got it.
Okay, you're live.
Welcome to Toronto, Ontario, site of the 2017 Brazilian Mixed Doubles Curling Championships, live from the beautiful Royal Canadian Curling Club. My name is Jason Chang, and I'm joined by our co-host.
I'm Giovanna.
Nice to have you here, Giovanna. We are joining the games in progress in the fourth end, or the third end. I'm not sure which one we're on now.
I believe it's the fourth end.
We're in the fourth end now. And these are the playoff games, the first round of the playoffs. The round robin completed this morning. 4 teams out of the 6 made the playoffs, and our feature game is on sheet D. It's the page 1 versus 2 game. You want to introduce the players in this game?
Alright, so right now we have throwing Marcelo Melo for the, who is it? For the yellow team, and Luciana Barella on that team as well. And on the other team we have Marcio Cerquinho and Aline Gonçalves.
So Aline and Marcio, they're throwing the red stones. They were the top seed going into the playoffs, number 1 seed with a record of 4-1 in the round robin.
Yeah, I just listened to it on YouTube.
Luciana and Marcelo, they were the number 2 seed in the round robin. They were also 4-1. And over on sheet B, we have the other playoff game. It's the 3 versus 4 game. And over there we have Alexander Barros and Scott McMullen. They were the number 3 seed. They also had a 4-1 record. They were seeded number 3 based on the last draws to the button.
This one here? Yeah.
And they're playing against the 4th seed, Thaisa Agrover and Sergio Mitsuo. Well, Giovanna, the score is 4-3. Gonçalves and Cerquinho took 4 in the first end, but Barea and Melo have come back with 2 in the second end and a steal of 1 in the third end. So the game is 4-3. Gonçalves and Cerquinho with the hammer in the fourth end, coming down to the last couple of stones here. As you can see, red is sitting shot rock and second shot rock. That's Gonçalves and Cerquinho on the button and the back of the forefoot. Luciana now trying to make a draw into the top of the forefoot area.
Okay. A vermelha está sentando com 2 pontos na casa. O Gonçalves e Cerquinho, e Luciana estava tentando fazer uma draw no botão.
Well, that draw slips just a little bit heavy into the back of the 8-foot. Gives Aline a chance to draw in and sit 3.
Pictures.
The audio on it, and so when they talk, it doesn't have like this. You can't correct it.
Well, it's 2 points as that draw comes up a little bit short. So 2 points for Gonçalves Aquino in the fourth end. And after 4 ends, they go into the fourth end break with a 6-3 lead. Well, Giovanna, the teams have been here now for 3 days playing. This is the third day of action. 6 teams here from around the world. So it's pretty exciting to have all these Brazilian curlers here in Toronto playing the national championships.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
Now, some of these teams have traveled pretty far to come to Toronto, haven't they?
Yeah, we have someone from South Korea and 2 people from Sweden, I believe.
Switzerland.
Switzerland.
They're all, actually, those 3 are all on the ice. Drover and Mitsuo, the 4th seed, coming into the playoffs. They're from Switzerland. And Scott McMullen, who is playing against Drover and Mitsuo, coming in from Korea. And their game is in the 4th end right now. Barros and McMullen have a 3-1 lead over Adrover and Mitsuo. And they're playing the 4th end. So 5 round-robin games were played in between these 6 teams, and the top 4 qualified for the playoffs. And we're using a page playoff system here. So this is the first round of that page playoff. The top seed and the 2nd seed are playing right now. That is our featured sheet. The winner will move directly to the finals on Saturday afternoon at 5 p.m. The loser will get a second chance in the semifinals, and they're going to play the winner of the 3rd seed and the 4th seed game. Using full mixed doubles World Curling Federation rules here. So they get their 4th end break. They just finished their 5-minute 4th end break here on this sheet. They also get a 1-minute timeout per game, where they can stop the time clocks and have their coach come out to have a chat if they need it. And for
Put it into the computer.
And for those of you watching mixed doubles for the first time, it's a relatively new discipline of curling compared to the 4-person team. Only 2 players, 1 male, 1 female, and the players will have to sweep their own rocks, because you do not get your regular 2 sweepers. And also 2 rocks start the every end in a stationary position. The team with hammer starts their rock on the back of the forefoot. In this case, the yellow has their rock in the back of the forefoot to start the 5th end. The team without the hammer, without the last rock advantage, starts with a centerline guard. And that's the red rock you see on your screen right now. And during the game, each team has the option to use 1 power play when they have the hammer. And during the power play, instead of the rocks being on the center line, they get to place a corner guard either on the left side or the right side of the sheet. And the rock that is on the forefoot right now moves to the 8-foot line, right behind the guard. So that gives the teams a bit of an opportunity to generate more offense with the hammer by setting up the corner guard. Right, that's the first rocks of the 5th end, and Marcio, without last rocks, this red team will throw the first stone. And typically the first shot is always a draw onto the button. Well, Giovanna, you are also a curler yourself, aren't you? And you curl out of Vancouver.
Yeah, that's right.
And your mom was, or is, curling in this tournament as well. How has it been watching your mom curl, as well as all the other Brazilian curlers?
It's interesting to see all their different techniques in the works. I find it really interesting and cool.
Now, you normally play the regular four-person curling, right?
Yeah. I kind of prefer it over mixed doubles because I get to be stiff, so it's just me making the decisions.
You're the boss.
Yeah.
Well, the mixed doubles curling does have a different dynamic compared to the four-person curling. As we just talked about, you have a couple of stationary rocks to start each end. You have the option to use a power play as well. Of course, there are only 2 players, so there are no additional sweepers. That makes it a little bit more difficult for the thrower. They have to be a little bit more accurate with their throws because you only have 1 sweeper. And another big difference is the number of rocks they throw.
Yeah, they only throw 5.
Only 5 rocks are thrown, so one of the players will throw the first rock and the last rock for the team, and the other player will throw the middle 3 rocks. Well, this is a nice looking draw by Aline. Right onto the button. That's perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like a really good shot for them.
Yeah, perfectly buried, and this leaves Marcelo really no option except to try to peel some of these guards away, move some of these guards out of the way so they can get access to that red stone. Another interesting thing about mixed doubles is instead of the 4-person game where you have a fixed position and a fixed throwing order, in mixed doubles, the teams can change the order that they throw in. So sometimes one player will throw the first and the 5th rock, and then later in the game, in another end, they could throw the middle 3 rocks. It's up to the teams to decide whether they want to change it up. Well, Marcelo was hoping to get a couple of rocks out of there, but he only manages to remove 1 and leaves the shooter there, so that red rock is still very well guarded.
Yeah, you just kind of replace the guard with the zone.
Elena now with another chance to throw another draw into the rings. Make use of those center line guards. She just made a beautiful shot, 1 rock go. Looking for this one to curl. Yeah, gets right onto that red one. Not really sure who is second shot. We know shot rock is 1 red. The second shot rock is pretty close, I think, between the yellow and the red. It's hard to tell from this angle.
Então, a gente sabe que o vermelho está com 1 ponto agora, mas é difícil para ver quem está na second shot rock. Então, a gente não sabe se o vermelho tem 2 pontos ou só 1.
Marcelo trying a really difficult shot, trying to hit the red rocks at the back. Have to get very tight to the guard. And in fact, he touches the guard, moves it away, but he does open it up a little bit. I think red will need to guard or protect the situation in the house now. "36 years old, Elena Gonçalves, born in São Paulo, now lives in Whitehorse, Yukon, Canada. curling out of the White Forest Curling Club.
Like an app.
Well, that's a really nice shot. Perfectly guarding the rocks and the rings.
It's going to be quite difficult
I
for
played that big
Luciano to get past this guard.
So now it's nothing to do with recording, it's more like both. You need,
Yeah.
you need.
But it's hard to do it on the phone.
Yeah, this one, if you're actually used to, like, yeah, in the button, in the button, so the rock,
So rock goes into the hole.
yeah.
So it's golf. With it runs.
We lost confidence.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a discussion on the ice. In mixed doubles curling, sometimes you lose track of the number of rocks you've thrown because you throw 1 and then 3 and then 1. And Marcelo is now calling for a technical timeout. Make that big X motion because it looks like somebody has thrown a rock out of order. So they're going to ask the official to come out and figure out what the situation should be.
Okay guys, there's no one playing right beside you this time.
Yeah, this time. It is spread out in the middle, that's better.
And meanwhile, over on sheet B, the team of Barros and McMullen score 2 in the 4th end, and they take a 5-1 lead over Adrover and Mitsuo.
Maybe that's extreme curling, there's a whole.
That's your mom's team, right?
Yeah. She's the one leading right now.
So they're just gonna burn their own?
Leading 5-1 after 4 ends.
Yep.
And I hear that your mom, Alexandra, and Scott have never curled together before until this week, right?
Yeah, I know I'm not quite sure if they've practiced before, but I know they've known each other before.
They know each other, but haven't really curled together.
Okay guys, I see 5 yellow rocks back there and I see 3 here. What's wrong?
Geez, maybe they only threw 4 last time.
Well, our live coverage is brought to you courtesy of
There are
Curling Zone.
yellow rocks here. for
We
sure.
do apologize if you've been trying to tune in earlier. Our fantastic Curling Zone crew doing double duty at the U.S. Olympic trials as well, so that caused a bit of a delay on our feed.
No, that'd be insane. You have to know this. I'd be really disappointed.
And that's our head umpire, Graham Batchelor,
Okay, so this is the problem.
out there trying to figure out the situation.
Right? But the person who's timing.
Have you ever seen this happen
They
before,
should,
Giovanna?
they should be also keeping track of
I've seen
back and forth,
something
right?
happen like this on a
He's
smaller
just the
scale
shadow, because he should
where
be the one that's
someone
like
threw the
timing
wrong
the
color rock
okay, well,
during a
this
game,
person threw
but
1, 2, 9.
nothing like this.
Yeah, well, usually when you throw the wrong color, you just replace the color with the correct color. It's usually
Yeah.
not a big deal.
Unofficial, and we've got some timing volunteers.
This actually has happened to me once playing mixed doubles. I was throwing the middle 3 rocks, and I ended up throwing 4 rocks.
Oh,
Oh,
então, tá parecendo que alguma pessoa jogou o pedra errado. Então, todo mundo aí tá tentando
That's a good idea.
achar o que fez esse erro.
Go to the very start of the game
E
and see how many rocks are the first.
figure out a way to fix it. I don't know.
Because if there's 2,
Well, I'm sure Graham will eventually figure it out once he sorts out what actually has happened. Of course, with a couple of games on the ice, he may not have been watching this game at the time, so he's going to ask the players what they believe happened and figure out a resolution. Meanwhile, let's talk a little bit more about Brazilian curling.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So the the men's team has been playing reasonably actively, I guess, trying to make the World Championships, trying to challenge in the Americas. I think the women's team have also challenged in the past.
Yeah, they challenged the American team, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see from here.
And I know that the men's team is challenging to try to make the World Championships again. So in the America zone, 2 teams go to the World Championships, and traditionally that is Canada and the United States. And any other federation in the Americas may challenge the lower ranked team in a best of 5 series to try to make the World Championships. And so Team Brazil has been challenging the Americans, the US team, for the last couple of years. This year they're challenging Team Canada. And that's because the US is hosting the men's worlds this year, so they get an automatic spot into that field, and that's Las Vegas, Nevada. And so Team Brazil will challenge Team Canada. And that challenge is taking place alongside the Continental Cup in London, Ontario. And the Brazilians, they've also been curling at the World Mixed Curling Championships.
Yeah,
They just came back from that in Switzerland, Chambéry, Switzerland. Marcelo was there, Aline was there as well, Luciana, and Sergio Mitsuo. I got a chance to meet them in Switzerland as I was playing for Team Hong Kong. And they've also played in the mixed doubles as well, right?
Yeah. They've also played for a team for the Worlds.
Yeah, right now, yeah.
And so the curlers in Brazil are, I think, I'm not sure if the numbers are growing in Brazil, but certainly the Brazilians who are curling around the world are growing, right?
Yeah, so far we don't really have any ice in Brazil just yet. It's kind of hard to get ice in such a hot country because it does cost a lot. But they're really looking into it, and they're planning on building a curling rink in São Paulo.
Oh, that would be great. This is such a big city, São Paulo is. And, well, hey, it's so hot outside, why not go inside and cool down a bit, right? Play some curling.
Because at this point, there's no yellow spit out there.
And we all know that beer is a part of the game, and I know the Brazilians like their beer too, so it seems like a perfect match for Brazil to have curling there.
Because now the ice is getting colder, it's just...
Yeah, it's I feel like Brazilians are just really into this type of game as well.
That's not
which
fair.
is why there are more and more Brazilians
That's
signing
not
up
acceptable.
for curling.
Because the other team was winning that end. Yeah. You can't restart the end because they screwed up.
So, based on what we're seeing on the screen, it looks like the umpire has decided that this end needs to be replayed.
Okay, guys.
Então,
What
tá
happened is
aparecendo
this. Marcelo is sure he played all these rocks.
esses times
Luciana
tá
but
fazendo
Red
end de
has
novo.
one extra rock back here. So it's like,
And we were watching the stream and we saw an extra yellow rock on the far side.
Right there. Yeah. There's right there. Awesome.
So we're watching through how many shots are, we're watching through the live action right now.
So this is the second one.
So just so we're getting this clear, of course, I'll think Marcelo's getting this out.
so are they replaying the end?
Yes,
Yeah.
the whole end.
So the other team was winning, they were in a good position, and now it's a new end.
Well, this is a big break for Varela and Melo because they were in some big trouble here in this end. Red was definitely sitting shot rock and very well covered. And now this fifth end is being completely replayed.
Where did this one come from?
I can only assume that the umpire has decided that the infraction occurred with the red team, which is why the end is being replayed. But
So we go down to the graph.
Did anyone watch the video feed to see what happened?
They're just doing that right now. They're counting the rocks now to see what happened.
We're just trying to figure out exactly what happened right now from our side because we're still not quite sure.
Like,
Yeah, but he fucked up.
So Marcel.
Yeah, you see, this is the rock. So now Marcel only to two rocks.
well, the end has started out pretty much the same as how the other last end started out with a nice draw to the button. So whatever the situation is, the red team needs to just stay in the moment, throw their rocks. They played a good end last end, they can repeat the same good end here.
Yeah, they just have to figure it out.
You just give the end to the other team. You give the end to the other team.
Should
They
we-
mess up.
Should they use the live stream to see?
No, no,
No.
no. It's too late now.
It's too late,
I
but
think, yeah.
Did you guys figure it out?
yeah, Marcel only played two rocks and then one yellow.
There was an extra like yellow like on
Oh,
sheet C, like in the corner of sheet C.
they still had, like, one yellow was sitting back there.
From the entire game.
From the
entire
In
game.
the beginning.
So it was like- so-
it might have something.
I think it was like sitting at the corner of sheet C.
Uh-huh.
And then they
Luciana makes a
threw,
nice draw right on
they-
top of the
they
red
threw,
rock.
a
So Marcel
takeout.
only threw two rocks.
Yeah,
for
so
two.
so
They
it
counted
was
the ones on the
like
back and
it was
the-
like a takeout
Yeah.
that moved to sheet C, and then they grabbed the takeout rock, and then they also grabbed that other yellow rock that was also a sheet C. They brought them both over, so they had 3 rocks down. Or 4
Okay.
rocks down.
The match and they could see also.
You guys hear that?
That's so shitty. Yeah. Very shitty. I
Então,
wonder
tá
what he's gonna
parecendo
feel
que
when he realizes
o
that.
Marcelo eu só joguei 2 pedras no end. E o Luciana joguei o último pedra de Marcelo. Então eles precisavam fazer o end de novo para conectar essa coisa.
Like we were saying before, Giovanna, sometimes this does happen when you have to throw 3 rocks in a row instead of 2. Sometimes you lose count.
No.
You should tell us.
And also with rocks being on both ends of the ice, because you start with some stationary rocks, there are always rocks on both ends of the ice. So, and you don't use all the rocks when you play, so sometimes it's easy to just lose count. And that looks like something along those lines happened there. And it looks like maybe Marcelo may have only played 2 rocks in that last end that is now being replayed. So in any case, it's a really big break for yellow. What a nice shot there. Marcelo makes the run back, picks the red rock off the button, and now yellow sits 2 behind cover.
It's unacceptable that all of this could turn away from the evidence and say there's nothing I can do. I won't watch the live stream now.
Well, I mean, at this point now it's too late. It was too late.
Yeah, it was too late.
It doesn't change the fact it was made the wrong way in the first place.
Okay, guys, how about now if something is completely lose this game because of that?
Then the referee should get the fuck out. That's unacceptable. I really hope they win this game after that.
Amy making a nice draw again.
Wow.
She's got her draw weight down.
I really put them on this terrible. You wouldn't lose this one still.
And Marcelo goes for
I'm not gonna bet money against that.
it's stronger than him.
Another big weight run back attempt by Marcelo Melo.
Marcelo tá tentando puxar o pedra dele pra dentro de casa, mas tá um pouquinho por dentro e tirou o bordo
He
dela.
couldn't catch up with the rock. It throws too heavy.
Kids have all done it.
That rock just over curls, just gets the peel.
How that yellow rock will come back.
I think Elena is being asked to throw up a guard, protect that red stone that's on the button.
But he says because the red had an extra rock, it was the red's fault. Even though there was an extra hidden rock in the back for yellow.
So they said it was a right fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they called it red fault, so they said it doesn't matter if they win in the end, we would replay it.
That's so shitty.
That is garbage. That's garbage referee.
Yes, yes, yes. Probably just,
The problem is, down, I think it's actually watching the games, it's pissing me off.
yeah.
He's too busy socializing.
Well, nice shot by Aline. Puts up a guard. There might just be a port there for Marcelo to come through and make this hit right on the nose.
Okay, let's say this court is big, it's big. The rock can bang, bang, and go back to the center here.
Marcelo trying to come through the port.
No,
I think he's on the guard.
Oh.
Paintings?
He does manage to make the double takeout. Opens things up a bit for their last rock.
Então, Marcelo estava tentando entrar dentro do buraco de pedras, mas não conseguiu e tirei os dois guardas de outro time.
But with red sitting shot stone still. They're looking for another guard. Protect the one that they have on the back of the button.
You're gonna smash.
Well, nice shot there. Protects the red one. Can't hit it right on, so Varela and Melo, their only option is to use their own yellow rock, slash it into the red one, to hopefully get shot rock out of it. It's the final stone in the fifth end. Luciana Varela trying to make a hit on the yellow rock into the red.
Isso era o último pedra de fourth end. Estava tentando fazer uma draw, tem shoot button, mas estava um pouquinho para dentro e levou muito e estava um pouquinho leve, então não deu.
So it is 1 point for red
Yes, yes. You want one tap.
in this fifth end that we've played twice, but red's played it twice beautifully. Well-deserved single point, and they take a 7-3 lead into the sixth end. Now, Giovanna, tomorrow afternoon, Saturday afternoon, at the Royal Canadian Curling Club, the Brazilian curlers are inviting Brazilians, other Latin Americans, and friends to come out and try curling, right?
Yeah, so anyone's welcome. It doesn't matter if you've never curled before. It's a good time to learn and to try something out you haven't done before.
I think those sessions are happening between 12 noon and 4 p.m.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not,
here's what happened.
Of course, you'll get a chance to meet these Brazilian national curlers as well.
On the far end,
Yeah.
and Marcelo Melo threw 2 rocks.
Tá parecendo que Marcelo, Melo e Luciana Varela tá fazendo
Power play.
tá fazendo power play deles. Isso é quando eles pôs os pedras na side e não no meio. Isso é bom para quando você não tem muitos pontos no jogo e quer jogar de offense.
because the Reds bought a red rock back at the end, and I wondered how the hell the rock fell at the end.
That must be one.
So they got it.
So we can the curling zone link is live right now.
Yeah, no, that explains what happened, and I'm happy with that. We did what we had to do, because it appeared to be something out of sequence.
Well, this is the first look at the power play here, and as you can see, Varela and Melo, they elected to use the power play, so they put the guard as a corner guard,
The rules say you replay the end if you can't
and
figure out how it happened.
their Yellowstone is now directly behind that corner guard.
He only threw
Gives Yellow an opportunity to keep the middle open, but also generate offense using the corner guard. And in an attempt to defend against this, Red has decided to play a rock into the top of the forefoot. And because there is still the free guard zone in effect in mixed doubles curling, in fact it's actually a free rock zone, the entire
they were lying by the time it happened, and they stole one.
area that's in play,
So everything's,
rocks
they stole one.
in there, the first 3 rocks cannot be used to remove any rocks. So Yellow could only tap that red rock back. If they had accidentally removed it, then the red would go back into play and the yellow would be removed from play. So that was a nice shot there from Varela and Melo to tap that red rock back to the back 4.
Because we said it keep his because everybody was looking at
But if it's just like the rocks are always like an excuse that it's right at the end.
Nesses mixed doubles tem uma regra chamada de free guard zone. Isso é quando os primeiros 3 pedras não pode ser usado para tirar alguma pedra. Então você não pode fazer o takeout nas primeiras 3 shots que você tem. Isso porque o Varela não tirou pedra vermelha.
Nice shot by Red there. Eleni tapping that Yellowstone back. Again, she could not take out any rocks as well. But now, on this 4th stone that is being thrown by Marcelo, he can now start removing rocks. And I think he'll make the play on that red stone. Maybe make a hit and roll.
Agora, porque isso é o pedra 4, ele pode tirar as pedras, então pode fazer uma takeout.
He hasn't thrown a lot of weight on this, so maybe he's just trying to tap it back.
I think it's just a guard. It's just a guard.
Tá parecendo que ele queria fazer uma guarda para o pedra dele.
Okay, maybe a guard was called. I'm not exactly sure why he would play a guard here. He's down by 4 points. He's only sitting 1. Well, now Eleni and Amarcio will just try to cut down the scoring area. put another rock into either the top of the rings or push that yellow rock back.
Lene estava tentando puxar a pedra amarela para trás, mas pegou na pedra dela e não deu.
Giovanna, I think this time Marcelo will hit, but he fooled me last time, so what do you think?
Looking at what his gaze right now, I think he might be trying to do a takeout. I'm not quite sure though. He is full of surprises. That doesn't really look much of a takeout, wait.
Another option is to play the freeze on the back red rocks, which might be what he's trying to do here.
Not anymore. They used to do that, but now because of those sliders on there and stuff, you don't need to
So
get this
I'm not
extra
quite
wood.
sure what he's doing right now.
Yeah, the equipment used to be way worse.
I can only imagine that that was not the exact shot that he called. Looked like maybe he was trying to freeze to the back red rocks, but now this has in fact exposed his yellow stone. Alini can use their own red rock and promote it into the yellow rock, removing the yellow. Can probably sit 3 after this shot if it's made.
So they'd have to lift it to just get that extra force in the control it.
And remember the brooms. We're talking about sport, the horn.
She just got it a little bit wide. Flips off that yellow rock. Loses her own red rock.
Ela jogou pouquinho para fora e pegou no pedra amarela e tirou 2 pedras dela.
You're supposed to use the momentum of the ice just to swing it off the ice, whereas when he's taking it, he's actually physically lifting it off the ice. It's hard to go through here. You're supposed to use
Makes sense, because it's like a pendulum.
Yeah,
and it's
exactly.
literally like
He's literally just lifting it and just jamming it back. Right.
But you've also talked about
Yeah.
so who knows where he's going to get salt.
What happened in the end? Did they figure the previous end they didn't throw enough rocks?
Yeah.
So is that on video or did the video start after?
It's on video.
So you saw the previous end
Yes.
this way?
No.
No, we didn't see that, but we didn't look that far back.
The previous end, they threw 4 rocks, and then as a result, the red brought 1 extra rock.
Marcelo now
Yellow
trying to-
brought their extra rock on
I
the
think
far
he was
side.
trying to play a raise on this yellow rock. They've split it open.
Yeah, yeah. And so the previous end, both teams threw 4 rocks and nobody noticed. But then when
O
they went
Marcelo
across the
estava
red rock back,
tentando
weren't they
puxar o
thinking,
pedra
why
dele para o botão, mas não deu. Acho que estava pouquinho
But if they do that,
para
then the
fora.
next time when they're talking to the official, you'd think they'd be saying, no, we brought an extra rock back.
But red rock.
Okay, but the official said, I can't figure out why we brought extra rocks back. I'll tell you what he's not doing, he's not watching the game.
Well, yeah, but he's got 2 games, I can't.
If you're bringing rocks back, you know there's a problem.
Yeah, but why didn't they explain that to him?
Maybe they thought it was like, oh, I don't know, but it was like the yellow.
Well, obviously they didn't agree on what happened.
Yeah, the yellow.
It's a little bit of a scary situation for red because there are 4 yellow rocks in the rings. Red is sitting second and third shot,
Yeah,
so it's really important that they make the takeout of this yellow stone. Get rid of shot stone. Try to sit 3. Oh, that's really well played. They are sitting 3 now, and I don't think there's a triple there.
Yeah, the part that confused me
Uma
was
muito
if Red brought a
bom
rock
shot.
back after the 4th end.
De Eline, ele tirou o ponto de amarelo,
Right,
agora
but
ele está
then,
sentando com 3
did
pontos.
both teams recognize after the 4th end that they only threw 4 rocks
I
each?
don't think they realized.
But as soon as you bring the rock back, someone's got to clue in that something's not right here.
They should have, yeah.
Well, actually, yellow, no, because they left the rock there. They didn't even realize there was an extra rock there.
Yeah, so I think
But whoever brought the red rock back,
should have been like, why are we
they got to be
bringing
thinking, why are we
rock?
bringing
Well, final
it back?
stone in the sixth end.
Who was
Luciana Varela needs to make this draw for a single point facing 3. This rock is over curling.
It's gonna crash.
Isso é a última pedra.
Will it raise it up far enough?
Well, far enough.
Yes, it does.
O Joy agora está
Score
tentando
point.
com
Both are mistaken.
ponto para amarelo.
Notice, but it would have started as a yellow.
It's one for yellow. Very lucky. The rock
Yeah,
will
she would
curl,
throw
but
it too early.
the weight was good.
Yeah.
Promotes the yellow stone up for 1 point in the sixth end.
In the swing of the game, you see the person that.
Yeah, yeah,
Gonzalez
Oh, yeah. I
and
agree.
Cepino now leads 7
I agree.
to 4
They're both at fault. That's what started it.
in the 7th end.
Yeah.
And Gonzalez and Cepino will have last rock in the 7th end. Over on sheet B, Barros and McMullen has stolen 1 point in the 5th end, another point in the 6th end over Androver and
I
Mitsuo.
mean, if that was all the
And so Barros and McMullen are leading that game 7-1. That is your page
Also, only
seed 3 versus 3, seed 4 game. The loser is eliminated from the tournament, and the winner will move on to the semifinals.
So the fourth end.
And they will play the loser of our future game, the 1 versus 2 game.
Yeah.
Actually, it Marcellus.
And now we see the power play being used again.
So red as soon
This
as
time
it's
by
our last round.
But was
Salvitz
there communication between
and
Marcelo and
Filipino.
was during the
Yes, each team has 1 power play, so now both teams will have used it. And the power play can be used in an offensive fashion, like Varela and Melo tried to use it in the last end. When you're behind, you can use the power play to try to generate more offense. But when you're ahead, you can also use the power play because it moves the rocks to the side and keeps the middle open towards the last stones that you have.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Então, agora Gonçalves e Cepino tá fazendo um power play deles. Podia usar o power play para offense como o Varela e Melo estão usando, mas eles podiam usar para defense também. Porque
They might not be. Has
deixar
anyone
mais
been switching rocks?
espaço dentro de meio para eles entrar e faz mais pontos nesse ano.
Oh yeah, that's true. They keep changing like who throws first, right?
I think before the games start, anyway, the extra rocks should be cleared off the sheets. It's always confusing looking at the back and seeing those extra rocks. As a spectator, you're looking and you can't figure out how many
Yeah.
have been played. Well, never seen that.
Luciana made a draw into the 8 foot with her yellow rock. And now Marcio trying to follow it down. I think he was trying to make a tap back. This one will overcurl a little bit, but
Oh, I know you have.
that's okay. He's going to sit shot rock in the side of the 8 foot.
Give him an evil eye.
I'm gonna walk
That
past.
would be now officiated.
I think this it's also because Marcelo is like so stubborn and so he's like bring 3 rounds.
Yeah, if you want to bench yourself, then you can ask other people.
So if you're like if you have to go out to him like no you threw 2 rocks in 2 instances and you didn't realize it would be like yeah you should have.
Well, Varela and Melo down by 3 in the 7th end of this 8-end game. They really do try to steal here, I think, Gianna.
They really need to put as many rocks as they can into the house. Play a bit aggressive this end.
Yeah.
It's like buddy, like actually think like can you recall 3 shots you made in this end? Because you should know what you recall to.
Marcelo plays a center guard. Try to put a couple of guards up to draw around later. Maybe try to bait the other team into just making a draw around these shots. With a 3-point lead, I would be peeling off that guard that just got thrown. I think Alina is going to try to draw here. She has had her draw weight all game, so maybe feeling more confident with just going in, making the draw, get to the middle first.
Então, tá parecendo que a Aline tá fazendo uma draw de novo pra pôr mais pedras dela dentro de casa. Tá um pouquinho leve, então só deixei eles com um guard agora.
Well, Aline comes up a little bit short, and that was the danger of throwing the guard, or throwing the draw, is leaving it short, leaving a guard for Marcelo to come around. And he will definitely make an attempt to get a rock behind the guards here. Maybe going the other turn, the out turn, and a tap on his own rock.
Parece que ele estava tentando entrar o buraco dentro de pedras deles, mas ele bateu nas duas e fez pedra na frente de cofre.
So you started that way?
No, because he was right 3 in the middle. Oh, so
In previous games.
Against us, he was playing the middle rocks.
Yeah. Did he, when they played it this morning, did they play each other? Who played what?
Wasn't focused on my game.
Me neither.
And we have a final to report on our other playoff game, the 3 versus 4 game. And it is Alessandra Barros and Scott McMullen defeating Thaisa Abrumer and Sergio Mitsuo in 7 ends. So that puts Barros and McMullen into the semifinals tomorrow at 10 a.m. Toronto time.
I assume they played this way the first game. Why would they change? Right? Because they beat them this morning, so you think they'd stay the same.
I believe the final score on the 3 versus 4 game is 1 for red in the 7th end to make the final 8-1. Marcelo trying to make a double takeout. He gets a rub off his own, redirects onto the other reds, gets one of the reds out of there.
O Marcelo estava tentando tirar as duas pedras vermelhas de casa, mas bateu nele e só tirou uma de vermelhas.
Where are the mirrors?
Really fortunate for Marcelo Melo
Those
there.
mirrors were so good.
He almost removed his own rock, but instead got the redirect and ends up being shot rock at the top of the 8-foot, just out counting that red stone. Alina being asked to remove this yellow rock.
Cheaper
and just better, yeah.
low maintenance.
So we're next.
Exactly.
Touches over
Ooh, slips through the hole.
Saiu dentro de buraco e não fez o que ela tá querendo fazer.
I don't remember last time I saw a mini like missing 2 shots back to back like that.
I think she was a little stressed because
Yellow still sitting shot stone. And now Marcelo is motioning for Luciana to make the hit and roll behind cover, try to set 2.
But that also means that they're like
Agora o Marcelo tá falando pra Luciana bater no pedra vermelho e campar dentro de casa. Isso é chamado de hit and roll.
No, it's curling. Yeah, it took. It's done. It's done.
No, it's not gonna hit an O.
It's done. It's done.
Do they have hammer? Yeah.
Yes.
Então ela não conseguiu fazer o hit and roll porque eles estavam um pouquinho pra fora. Mas tirou pedra vermelho e dá uma chance para eles fazer 2 pontos nesse ano.
Yeah.
A draw on the left side would be very safe.
Feliciano makes the hit, rolls out of the ring, so it's 1 yellow rock that's in there right now, counting as shot stone. Marcio Cerquinho, final stone, trying to make a takeout, a quiet late takeout for his single point.
I know, it was his release.
Disappointment.
Oh, it's my hitter, it's my hitter, it's my hitter.
He makes the hit. Will it go out?
Assim, eles estavam um pouquinho pra fora nesse chão, então só puxou pedra amarelo para o back 12 foot e tirou 2 pedras.
What did they get? Oh.
Entertainment.
It's 1 for yellow. That hit just did not curl up enough. Sticks around in the back of the 12. Yellow counts 1, and the score is now 7-5. Gonçalves and Cerquinho leading Varela and Melo. Going into the 8th end, Gonçalves and Cerquinho will have the last rock advantage, the hammer in the final end.
No one thought you would be hiding rocks under his hat.
Marcelo throw 2 rounds and they accept that. He was 1 last one that they have.
Well, in the mixed doubles game, this is actually one of the
Yeah. One last
advantages of having to try to steal is you already start with a guard.
Exactly.
So you don't have to throw your own guard up. The guard is already perfectly placed for you. And so your first rock, you can come right around it onto the top of the 4-foot or the top of the button. And you even have a little bit of backing to work with. So it's not unusual to see steals in the mixed doubles game because the rocks are already stationary and in pretty good spots for you to come down on.
That's one of the bigger advantages of playing mixed doubles.
The challenge for Varela and Melo is they are down by 2, so they're going to have to steal 2 to tie the game, or 3 to win.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Marcelo was walking the ball.
So stressful.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Luciana's rocks looks a little bit light, also looks a little bit tight on the line.
Tá parecendo que Luciana queria fazer uma draw atrás de guarda deles, mas são um fio leve e para dentro, então parou na frente de guarda que estava aí.
Yeah, I like it. Make me move. Come here and make me move.
Ends up with another guard. It's not a terrible result. Those guards, of course, cannot be removed right now until the 4th rock being thrown. Marcio Cerquinho trying to draw into the top of the rings. Aline working really hard on this one. Good sweeping. Really nice shot. Top of the 12-foot, just biting the 8. Cuts off one side of the rings.
O Aline Vapor, essa pedra é muito bom, tem curtiu casa. Cerquinho jogou pedra um pouquinho leve, mas já sabia o que fazer e pôs o pedra dentro de casa.
I can understand the basics.
Marcelo needs to make this draw into the rings. Luciana working really hard. Gets it to the top 4.
Ele fez uma draw dentro de vermelho, chamada de top 4. Não sei que ele está sentando com uma ponta, agora está parecendo que vermelho ainda tem uma ponta.
Well, now with the 2-point lead, Alini, this being the 4th rock being thrown at the end, can now remove yellow stone. So she's going to try to remove every yellow rock she can see here through the rest of the end and try to take that 2-point lead home.
Agora ele está tentando fazer uma take-out de pedras amarelas na frente.
It's gonna end like raising one of the yellows inside the house.
No.
Okay.
Estava um pouquinho leve, eu acho, e deu um outro guarda para eles.
It looks like Alini just rolled that rock inward and got the rock hurling right out of her hand. Ends up crashing on the guards, leaves up another guard. It's getting a little bit messy up in the front of the house there with 3 guards. Yellow's gonna have a chance to get another rock into the 4-foot or into the button area.
Isso está chamando de uma timeout. Ele vai ter 1 minuto para pensar o que eles vão fazer agora.
Timeout being called by Barella and Nemelo. They're going to have a look at the situation.
No.
During the timeout, a coach can be consulted if they have a coach here.
But you still have a coach.
No, they had a coach back there in White House.
They've got to figure out a way to manufacture 2 points. Well, Giovanna, what do you think? Is it? I think red is still the closest right now to the middle of the rings.
From what I can see, I believe red is still sitting shot rock.
Yeah, I think if yellow were shot rock, they would not need to think about moving the yellow, but
Yeah.
they're talking about how to move this yellow up a little bit closer because it probably isn't shot rock right now.
Yeah,
It's going to be
they need to score.
kind of difficult for them to be getting these rocks since they do have to have 2 to tie the game and at least 3 to win this game.
Yep, if they manage to score 2, we would go to extra ends. They were looking at maybe playing the raise on that yellow guard into the yellow rock. I think they can also probably just play a draw and tap their yellow rock a little bit.
Yeah.
Just in case.
I like those.
Yeah, they have like streaming.
It keeps looking back.
Oh, it's probably because time out on
Is there a time for they
yeah, they got the time out. The M&Ms are kicking in though.
So it looks like Marcelo is playing the raise on the guard.
Tá parecendo que Marcelo tá tentando puxar o guarda dele dentro de casa, mas estava um pouquinho para fora e não deu.
Or that himself.
Looks like he had a little too much ice.
He saved that rock to play now, one extra rock in the last end. That's smart.
Jiggles the guards around.
Oh my goodness.
Red still sitting shot stone. Yellow sitting second shot.
Four rocks in fourth inning, so he plays 6 rocks. Yes. Can you imagine?
We can even call 2 additional players in between.
It's the new power play.
It's a new power play.
Extra power.
Well, a couple of options here. They could try to hit the yellow one out, but I think they've decided for Eleni to throw up a guard, replace the yellow guard that was just moved, and make it very difficult for Marcelo and Luciana to tap that yellow rock out. But I think this rock is over curling.
Então, a Eleni jogou uma borda para o outro time entrar dentro de buraco. Cavou um pouquinho mais que ela queria, mas vamos com borda.
Side by side, the flag net and the shame they both got it open on the same side. I think it would look a lot better.
Marcelo will now try to play that little tap, come around the guards, move that yellow one up onto the button for shot rock. It looks a little bit tight. That's why he's sweeping it really hard right now.
Parecendo que ele está muito para dentro, isso é porque ele está varrendo muito agora.
He's by the guard.
Puxou pedra e agora está parecendo que amarelo está sendo ponto.
It would be worth 2 points.
Oh, like what they did at that.
That's shot rock. Yellow does get shot rock with that tap.
Now they just need one more point to tie the game.
Yeah. And yellow has one more rock left. Red has 2 rocks left. And Eleni and the red team, they're just going to try to prevent the yellow team from getting a second one in there.
Yeah.
So I think the best way to do that is to try to draw in yourself, get onto the button.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's what they've decided to do here.
That was 2 points instead of 19.
Coming up a little bit short and leaving a guard is not a bad option as well. That would make it very difficult for Luciana and Marcelo to get in, but it does look like you can make a draw from the other side. Have to be very precise, but it looks like the draw from the clockwise side or the intern side is still there.
Does look like she's setting up a guard now.
Yep.
Então ele joguei uma outra guarda aqui, parando o outro time de fazer uma outra drop para uma outro ponto. Então agora vai ser mais difícil para eles fazer 2 pontos.
Yeah, Eleni makes a good guard here, and now they're trying to figure out how they're going to get the second yellow rock in. They had a quick look at the draw, the intern draw. Marcelo there having a look at the angle for the angle raise. From where I'm sitting, it looks like the draw is makeable.
It does look like it's makeable, but it does look like it would be quite difficult.
Yeah, I agree with you, Giovanna. I'm not sure there's any easier shots, though.
Yeah, that's true.
They're looking at now the hit and roll. This is a very flat hit and roll. Have to hit it very hard to get it to spill across.
There's not much for them to do right now.
I think they've decided on this hit and roll. I think this one's pretty tough. We'll see.
Desperate times calls for desperate measures.
Luciana Varela with her last rock for her team, needing a hit and roll.
Agora a Luciana está tentando fazer uma hit and roll Isso é quando você bate na sua pedra e faz a pedra vai para dentro. Mas não deu e ela puxou a pedra dela para fora. E agora só tem um ponto e Gonçalves e Cerquinho
Pera,
ganharam.
mas agora eles têm que...
Aline Gonçalves, Marcio Cerquinho. They win this match. Yellow, without the ability to get another rock in there, have run out of stones in the page 1 versus 2 game. And so it is Aline and Marcio. They're through directly to the final. Saturday afternoon, 5 o'clock. For Marcelo and Luciana, they will drop into the semifinal match, and they will play Barros and McMullen tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. Well, Giovanna, Gonzalez, and Cerquinho jumped out to a quick lead, 6-3. In fact, 7-3. Melo and Barra tried to claw back in the last couple of ends. What do you think made the difference for Aline and Marcio in this game?
I feel like the little slip up that did happen on the fourth end put a little bit more stress on Aline and Marcio, and so that might have had an effect on how they were playing. But nonetheless, they still played well, as did the other team.
Yes, and they hang on for a 7-6 victory. That's the final score. And so that brings us to the end of our coverage this afternoon from the Royal Canadian Curling Club. And just a reminder to everybody who's interested in that tri-curling session, if you want a little bit more information, you can go online to rocksolidproductions.com/tri-curling. And you can even register yourself for a session there and come out tomorrow sometime between 12 p.m. and 4 p.m. at the Royal Canadian Curling Club, located on Queen Street East and Broadview Avenue. All right, so on behalf of Curling Zone and the Brazilian Ice Sports Federation and all the Brazilian curlers here, thanks very much for joining us at the 2017 Brazilian Mixed Doubles Curling Championship. And join us again tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Toronto time for continuing coverage. That'll be the semifinal matches.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
It's on